don't know. Ask me about an AI companion. Listen, AI is like chasing me around. I don't, what does this mean? Okay, just go away. Thank you. Okay, well, happy, God, what is today? Tuesday?
Yep.
Happy last couple days of July. That means that we are heading into the next half of the year, but we are starting this next half of the year on a wonderful note. I'm very excited about our guest today, Miss Alisha Blackwell-Calvert. Am I saying your last name correctly?
Calvert.
Calvert.
Yes.
My apologies.
Oh, it's okay.
Um, is a incredibly accomplished advanced which we will talk about a little bit later, a beverage director at Madrina. Did I say that right? Madrina.
Yes, you nailed it.
You like the role?
Love it. Love it.
uh, in Missouri. But she also has a very interesting path into wine because that was not her initial passion. It was also another very, let's say, not off-putting, but funny a path you wouldn't have thought of as her initial journey into an industry. And so not only is Alisha a 40 under, oh no, that's not 40 under 40 no more. It's future 40
Oh,
wine
yeah.
enthusiast, future 40 recipient. She was also one of the first recipients to make the semifinalist list for this year's new James Beard Awards, Beverage Awards. So Alisha is accomplished from the rooter to the tutor.
Thank
And
you.
we are going to get into all of these things, including what's in her glass tonight, um, and what she's been up to. We were actually just talking about your judging. I'm trying to pin both of us. Sorry, one sec. We were actually just talking about you judging a wine competition because we were talking about Maryland wines. Shout out to Boyd Crew, one of our members, but also an incredible Black-owned wine brand in Maryland. But before we get to all of that, let's start at the beginning. So you had a very unexpected turn into your wine career. You
Yeah.
actually started off studying, was it horses?
Yes. Yes. Everything I do is not expected. So,
I love it though.
yeah, my first path was in horses. I wanted to be a veterinarian. Because we all have our dream of what we want to do after college. I want to be a veterinarian. So I decided to enroll myself in an equestrian school in Middle Missouri. And my family doesn't own horses. We have never been around horses, but as a kid, I've always seen horses on TV, fell in love. I want to do this. And that's kind of how my path began, seeing something I want to do and saying, can I curse here? Can
Oh
I
my
curse?
God.
Okay,
If
cool.
you don't, I will
Saying,
be offended.
okay, saying fuck it. I want to do whatever I want to do. I like horses. This is what I want to do. My parents said, okay, enrolled me in an equestrian school, fell in love with horses, was riding on the equestrian team at William Woods University in Fulton, Missouri, mid-state. And that's kind of how my path began. Um, yeah, I started studying biology, wanted to get into the sciences and dive in because that's where my heart is. It's with animals, it's with science. But after college, I started waiting tables like a lot of us do and fell in love with wine and food pairing. I've always been in love with food and tasting and learning and diving into cultures. And I didn't realize that when you are studying wine, when you're tasting a culture, you're tasting a place, you're tasting someone's art, and there's so much behind it. I ran away with it. I'm like, I didn't know wine was so complex. It could be complex if you want it to be, but it can also be simple and quaffable and um, but thought provoking at the same time. Wine can be whatever you want it to be, and that's why I love it and fell in love with this path.
It's so interesting because Wine is, the same thing as kind of taking the veterinarian path. It's not a ton of, well, particularly horses. It's not a ton of us, and by us, I mean Black women that are in
Hmm.
that space. And so you went from one predominantly white male space, if we're being honest, to
Yes.
another predominantly white male space. Do you feel like coming, what you studied, coming from that path, prepared you for the wine industry in some ways?
100%. It you almost don't even notice. Like you recognize it. I grew up here in St. Louis, in Webster Groves, which the school district is pretty diverse. So you see everyone, all walks of life, and then going from public school in St. Louis to a private school in Middle Missouri, where I'm one of two Black girls out of 800 that are into horses, and that's why we're there. He's like, I notice it, but I didn't let that stop me because I was there for a purpose,
Mhm.
and she was also there for a purpose too. So I I don't let that. I notice it, but I don't let that hang me up. I don't let that stop me. So going from a place where it's a lot of white women, very wealthy, whatever, to now wine, where everyone is white and fairly wealthy to afford some of the better stuff. It's one and the same. It's the same circle, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah,
So
I could understand that. But does it ever get like exhausting?
it it does get exhausting. I get exhausted.
It's a
I
safe
just turned
space.
41. It's exhausting. There's some days I'm at work that I wonder, why do I keep doing this? Why am I doing this to myself? Because I feel that I spend so much time learning my craft, studying, trying to get ahead, make a name for myself, for someone to turn around and undermine me table side. So that gets I no, yeah. I'll just stop, take a sip, because that's one of my biggest pet peeves. Um, I don't expect you to visit me at my restaurant, sit down in my section, and trust everything I say. You shouldn't. But when I'm the way I speak, way about the way I speak about my menu with confidence and authority, I mean, I'm trying to build your trust, but people go out of their way to try to one up me, or I heard this about wine, I drank this, it's like this. Well, actually, you're wrong. Barolo isn't made from Sangiovese, sir. Just like just really little things. It's little things, but you know it's what servers do. We put up with a lot, um, and you do it with a smile on your face, but I tell you, that smile is starting to fade. It's really starting to wear on my soul, trying to be hospitable and go out of my way for people in a post-COVID world, because I feel like people want to be right. They want to be a critic. They're not coming to your restaurant to relax. They're not coming to rest. That's what a restaurant is for. They're not coming to enjoy the concept. They want to come and be their version of the next Robert Parker or the next restaurant critic. And it's like, I just want to make sure you have a good time, and you're picking me apart and making my life and job hard for no reason. So that's another story. But that's only the 10% of what we do, right? Is it's
But
stressful.
that is the story. It's not another story. It's your story, it's my story. It's,
Hmm.
every nuanced conversation that we've had to have around this topic, and for it to be 2025. And I started my career at the St. Regis in 2011,
Mm.
and that's literally still having the exact same story. Is It's disheartening. It's the same microaggressions. It's the same thing that you have to deal with. And so, this is a very safe space, and you are allowed to feel what you feel, and whatever that means. In that moment is valid. It's all valid. It's not something that, we have to push to the side or
Hmm.
pretend like everything is okay. It's not okay. It's not, it doesn't feel
Yeah.
good. It didn't feel good to me when you were just saying it. It actually triggered me a little bit because, I also remember those days when I used to get sent away from tables and people would ask me about Kool-Aid and all kinds of, pop quizzes at the table to
The
try
pop
to
quizzes.
the
Yeah.
pop quizzes. And people don't believe these things, right? Like they're like, oh, you're exaggerating. It's like, no, they give you pop quizzes, what are all the grapes that you have to do with the pop? And then if I go and tell you to suck my
Yeah.
then I'm wrong, right? Like
Right. Right. Because I want to. Because I
right.
want
Because
to.
I've done the work, right?
Yeah.
Like, and as accomplished and beautiful as you are, and by beautiful I mean like your spirit and your outside beauty, you don't ever have to reduce yourself to that nonsense. And I really hope that changes for me for you in a lot of ways. And I can hear that you're kind of like taking back your power little by little and just not giving a fuck. And there's gonna be a time where you're gonna be like, you know what?
The one thing I love about Madrina, and I love where I work. So I left the Four Seasons Hotel here in St. Louis to open up this Italian American concept in my hometown, just 2 blocks away from where I grew up. So there's a lot of nostalgia there. But the reason that I found it worthy to leave the Four Seasons, like I can run my own program, have my own name on it, be the star of this show, and really focus in on what I love best because I love Italian wine and we focus on Italian. That's another part of the story. But I get to be myself. They back me 100%. They let me do my own thing. I don't get micromanaged. They trust I know what I'm doing because that's why they hired me. And if I have a situation with a guest that I have to be a little snarky back because I'm feeling uncomfortable, they're going to back me 100% because they know that it takes a lot for me to step out of my professional self and give you shit back because you're being ignorant to me.
Yeah.
And I'm really not putting up with it anymore. I really, really don't. I will
Yeah.
put you down with a smile on my face
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
make you tip me 20%. So
Because we're gone are the days is the guest is always right, or
Mhm.
that it's very archaic, that idea, because it becomes abuse at some point. But
Mhm.
I am incredibly happy. Like it relieves my soul to know that you are protected.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we're not protected in that space, especially in
Mhm.
luxury spaces. They're not trying
Yes.
to hear the guest is always right. You have to eat it. You have to get, trying to take this emotional and mental abuse a lot of times. And sometimes people don't even understand what a microaggression is or what that feels like. And so you sometimes you have to eat it alone. So um I think that protection is so important. And let's talk about your program, your wine program, because you
Mhm.
love Italian wine. Obviously your list has made waves all over the country, and
Thank you.
even the James Beard program. Um how how did you go from, like, how has your program evolved from when you first started working there to going up to James Beard, and how did James Beard change,
Mhm.
if it did, any of if that perspective?
Yeah. So, okay. So at Madrina, we're already doing something different. So it wasn't my idea, so I can't take credit, but um, I ran with it. So the opening concept for Madrina, Stanley Brown, who is one of the co-owners, who owns his own wine bar, he's known for having a very approachable style to his wine bar. It's called the Robust System. If you like mellow wines, go to this section. If you want robust wines, go to this section. So it's very user friendly. So he wanted that user friendly approach to the list at Madrina. So his idea was putting wines together. If you like this, then you're going to like the wine next to it. Cool. That's what you want. I wouldn't have come up with that idea because my mind doesn't think like that, but I
Yeah.
ran with it. So I spent about a month pairing wines together. And I think that's why the approach is different because you think about pairing food and wine
Mhm.
together, but I'm pairing varietals together. So the idea is that if you like this domestic Pinot Gris, try this Italian Pinot Grigio from lightest to fullest embodied. I've got a Verdicchio next to a Sauvignon Blanc. I've got Syrah from Washington State next to Robusto del Piave. So I've dialed in what we call the Due pairings, the the two column system that each domestic wine has its own Italian counterpart. So it's
Wow.
fun. It's an educational tool.
Very.
I get to play with cool domestic wine, but I get to go to town on the Italians and do really cool geeky stuff, go outside of the box. I love a very diverse wine list, and they're only giving me a page, well, 2 pages. So I really have to be creative and diversify what I have.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I represent Arizona wines, Missouri, Virginia. So it's not all even California, Washington, Oregon. I try to diversify both sides of the list. So, then I also have a little a little column on the wine list called Alicia's Global Selections. And it was just a working title, but they loved it and printed on the menu, which made me feel good because I like seeing my name in print.
Uh,
Because I can take ownership of it. Um, but yeah, so this part of the wine list are places I've been around the world. Like I have a wine from Slovenia. Um, People from St. Louis love Burgundy and can't live without it. So even on an Italian list, I have to have some sort of
mhm.
Burgundy. So I have Albert Bichot represented and just a few other things to help round it out. So yeah, I'm proud. It's still a work in progress. I'm still kind of dialing in. Now it's kind of a matrix where I'm losing things and plugging things back in with like wines from different regions. So yeah, it's fascinating. I like it.
Yeah, that's actually really
Mhm.
fascinating. I mean, it's a different way to approach education without it being like in your face. And it also encourages people to try things that they probably never tried before, and it helps them to
Mhm.
develop their palate in a way that is still their choice.
Right.
So I think that that's really dope. But let's talk about James Beard. What
Yes.
was that like for you? That whole thing,
Mm.
like the nomination, like I'm sure people flooded to you, and Missouri was so proud. Like,
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, so very unexpected. Um, so the thing about James Beard and being in restaurants is that when you talk about a James Beard award, you're referencing the chef or the restaurant or even the wine list. So this was the first time that James Beard has recognized the actual professional behind the work. And not even just my work at Madrina or the wine list at Madrina, they are looking at my breadth of work.
yeah,
And that's why I take a lot of pride in this nomination, the semifinalist nomination. Anyway, um, yeah, it's nice to be noticed because it's what am I doing this for? I'm doing it for me, but you want to be recognized for the long nights and the sacrifices and the weekends away from my family and working with flashcards till 3 a.m. and then doing it again the next morning and studying for exams and the anxiety of taking an exam and then the failure with not passing. There's so much that goes into where I am now that
yeah,
for James Beard to see me and recognize my path, it just I mean it's I can't describe it. It's
yeah,
really just unbelievable.
yeah.
Um
And that's a
yeah.
big deal. It was a big deal to be a part of that first cohort. That was because I can tell you from experience, it's very, very, very hard to narrow that down to the semifinalist list. It was incredibly hard to narrow it down. And I was just so proud of like the people that made it, and that whole thing just gave me so much joy just to watch that whole thing unfold. Um,
Mhm. It's
and
a
so
strong list.
it
Strong,
is
like there's people that I look up to on that list as
it's a
well.
strong
So
list.
I'm looking at Master Sommelier Christopher Bates, who is from New York, where I'm drinking wine from tonight. Um, I'm drinking New York Riesling. Yeah, I'm seeing names I know, people I love, and also, I mean, I'm happy for me, but cheering them on as well. So yeah,
Yeah, I'm
it's
sure you'll be
next
back.
level.
I'm sure
I
you will be back.
I hope so. I hope so. Um,
Did it change anything for you, that nomination?
um, it, yes and no. Um, so there's a sense of pride that I'm carrying now that I didn't have before. Um, but I'm not doing anything different. I'm still Alicia.
Yeah.
I mean, I still act the same, talk to my tables the same. I mean, yeah, now I mention, James Bay is semifinalist. I mention it, but um, it feels, I feel different, but I'm not acting different on the floor.
Yeah,
My head's a little higher. Now you see my face when you walk into the restaurant now, it's the first thing you see. Thank you. But
wait, they have like a poster or something?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I tell you,
Oh my God, you have to send me a picture.
my
I need to
I
see.
will. I tell you, Madrina takes care of me. Like they
Listen,
really value me. Like
that's
it's
wonderful.
really cool. And again, it's usually you walk into a restaurant and we love Chef Tim Adams. He's amazing. He's a really great guy, very talented chef. And I appreciate what he does at Madrina. But again, it's that situation where it's typically about the chef.
Right.
So I'm not taking anything away from Tim, but I'm definitely holding my own and shining on my
Right.
own there. So that makes me feel good. Makes me feel good.
Yeah, and
This.
even economically, wine programs are just as important as the food program. Like the beverage program
Mhm.
is what is it 60-70% of the revenue that comes in.
Mhm.
Like so yeah, you're
Yeah,
definitely
I mean, beverage is 2/3 of what we do.
yeah.
It's it's a big chunk. And my role, not only I serve, obviously I serve because I like to, but I am the beverage director as well. So I'm managing my program, watching the numbers on the bar side of things, and having my input valued. So there's a lot going on, and that's also why the sommelier is so important because we are in charge of the numbers, we're in charge of the programming, we're in charge of the training, we're in charge of the guest interactions, we're
Yeah.
answering the phone, running food, you know.
I don't think people know that. I think that people think that we just, and by we, I mean Tahara that used to be on the floor. Tahara ain't on the floor. But
Right.
people think that we just like, oh, go to the table, like, hey, do you want to drink a glass of wine? Yes. Okay. Here, you want a white or a red? Like, that kind of thing. It's just like, it's
Hmm.
so much that goes into that process of the floor. Night to night, it's different every night. You
Right.
have to anticipate the guests that are coming in from, what that coverage is going to look like. You have to be prepared for this. You have to know your regulars. You have to like it's so much stuff. You're running food. You have to know
Hmm.
the menu for the night, the specials, what needs to get moved out of the fridge, and like all of these things. It's such a complex day-to-day thing that I don't think people understand or appreciate as much as they probably should. So thank you for saying that because I think that it sheds a little bit of light on um, just the job. Like yes, it's glamorous in so many ways, but it's also like
Hmm.
it's grunt work. Inventory?
uh, it's coming. It's the end of the month.
Yes, yes, it is.
Yeah,
Inventory
so
is part of the reason why I left the floor. I said, "Oh no, baby, I can't be
no.
counting 3,500 bottles every month by hand. This is not.
30, no, no ma'am, no ma'am.
Oh, oh no,
um
this is not
I
it."
luckily I found a way to, especially in St. Louis, I can run a program without having 3,500 bottles and still be successful, which is great because I don't want to count 3,500 bottles. I don't. So I try to keep it easy on myself, keep it tight. I order what I need. And I think that's also part of why my numbers look so good. And I'm running successful programs because I take that part of the business into account. If I'm holding on to several $100,000 of inventory in the restaurant, that's money that the restaurant can be using right now for other things like giving people raises and getting plates and silverware. And I can be successful running my program and um, being a profit center for the business without sucking and holding on to a lot of capital.
Yeah, and I think it's great that you do run the program that way. And people can be inspired by that. Like you don't have to have these gigantic lists. Also, they're intimidating the guests. So
Right,
there's that part of it. It's also
right.
kind of eliminating that whole the level of intimidation on some level. It doesn't completely annihilate it, but having a smaller list is definitely more comfortable for the guests for sure.
Mhm.
So let's shift into culture and mentorship.
Mm.
Um, it's St. Louis is one thing, but Missouri is another thing in like the cultural aspects of where you work. Do you feel, are there a lot of Black wine professionals there? And have you did you have a mentor coming up and have you taken on a mentee?
All of that. So there's not a lot of um, people of color in wine in St. Louis, especially right now. As far as there's two Black female advanced sommeliers here in St. Louis. Myself and Wanda Cole Nicholson, who I consider an early mentor of mine. She's so elegant, so thoughtful with her
Sure.
pairings and how she talks about wine. And she's definitely a leader. And she's still present in St. Louis, but now she's going into nursing and
Yeah.
dominating that field.
Yeah.
Shout out to Wanda.
Wanda.
Um, but
I
there's
didn't
not
know
a
she
lot of
was
us.
still in St. Louis though. I don't know why I thought she moved. But
She did, but she
anyway.
came back.
Okay, because I was like, Wanda's still in St. Louis? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, continue.
Mm-hmm. So I love Wanda, but I did have mentors early on, people who knew more than me, and um, people like Andre Ivanov, who's now a master sommelier, helped set me on the right path. Glenn Burgett at Annie Guns put me on the right path. Patricia Wamhoff, Matt Dully. I mean, there's people from St. Louis, and some of them are still here that helped kind of
Mhm.
put me on the right track. And that helped me tremendously because especially when it comes to things like taking examinations and you you don't know what to expect unless you've learned from someone who's already been there. So, and that's information that they don't have to share with me, but did. As far as my path now, I do consider myself a mentor, even though I don't feel like it in some regards, because I don't think of myself that way, because I still feel like I am a student. So it's hard for me to consider myself a mentor. Um, but I do give back. I mean, there's a couple of people that are looking towards me for mentorship and guidance, and I'm there for them as best as I can. So
Yeah, I think that's
it's a big responsibility
yeah.
to mentor people because you don't want to give bad advice. Which I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. I mean, I guess there's no such thing as bad advice. It's up to the person to take it or leave it. But yeah, you want to be there for people. The thing about St. Louis is that we are a caring and nurturing community, and there's a lot of collaboration. So so yeah, I believe in that.
Yeah, I think that that's really cool. Did you mentioned some of your mentors and also, you know, some people that are in CMS. Do you have you are one of what is it, three, four now, advanced some Black women that are advanced some? It's four.
What? There's only four of us?
Am I
No
wrong?
way.
Listen, I don't keep up with the numbers no more.
I
I could be
I'm not.
wrong.
I don't know. That's low if it's right. Ugh. I don't have a number.
We can name
I'm not sure.
so Cassandra,
Cassandra,
you,
Wanda.
Wanda.
Uh oh. Uh oh. There's got to be there's got to be others. Anybody in the chat know of anyone? Who are we forgetting? Anyone? Ugh. Oh, that's heartbreaking. Um. Well, dang. Okay. Well, it's a very limited number. We'll just keep it there. And as far as master sommeliers, there are none. So I personally want to continue with the program because that is a goal I set for myself. And I need goalposts for myself to feel like I'm doing something with my life. I have
Mhm.
to stay busy. And again, I'm just a student at heart, and this is what I want to do. So I do plan on sitting next year after, and I'm going to go for it.
Good
So
luck.
yeah, thank you.
We need somebody to break through. I was like, nope, no, no,
I
no, no, no.
I understand. I get it. I do not blame you at all because that was the right choice for you. Yeah,
Yeah, and
because
I think, you know, it's a complex thing, but not for
Mhm.
nothing. You do have to adjust a lot of parts of yourself to fit in with that crew and the willingness to do that. And that's across the board. Like, and it's not
Mhm.
just with CMS. That's just in general. Most people have to adjust to their jobs or,
Yeah.
'cause that's just the world that we live in.
I mean, that's professionalism, just kind of adjusting to whatever that standard is for that certain profession.
Yeah. I just I'm just curious, has it changed at all in the last couple years? Have you seen any changes, excuse me,
Mhm.
with the way that they do things or because it was a lot of controversy. I started some of it. We don't have to talk about that part. But but there was more controversy
Right,
about
right.
beyond me.
There was
Um,
more than that, right?
yes. Has the court changed its stripes or spot? What does it say? Leopard don't change its spots.
Mm,
The leopard changed its spots at all, or actually has it become more realistically inclusive? And I'm not just talking about like quote unquote for women. I mean like language, the kind of the way accessibility, like those kinds of things.
mhm. Yeah, so I've been um participating in the court since what, 2014? 14? Yeah, I got my intro in 14, got my certified in 15, and my advanced in 22 or 23, 22. So I've seen a lot of different parts of the court, right? I mean, in St. Louis, I was hosting master sommeliers in my restaurant before I even took my. So I've had a lot of experience um, in that circle and seeing what they are like behind the scenes. Da, da, da. So I've gotten to know people, and then 2018 hit, and then 2020 hit. So now I'm seeing all of these scandals and things unfold, and seeing what it's like for other people because I can only see my little side of the story. And it was very disappointing to hear women's testimony and hear your testimony and your story. And that's fucked up. That's really fucked up. And I think since then there has been a turnaround in leadership in the court.
Mhm.
Um, I am a fan of Master Sommelier Emily Wines. I consider her a mentor as well. And to me, she is inclusion. You know, she's not a straight woman. She's out there and she lives her loud, amazing self, and I love her for that. But you can also see that change in the leadership and how the language is now, and now they're dropping old world and new world, right?
Good,
So that's a language that's taking out of the exam setting. You
good.
can say it, you're not getting points for it, because we all have our rhythm and our cadence,
Mhm.
but that's not required points anymore. Um, there is Since those scandals, there is more transparency in test taking and results, and there's more inclusive language. I'm seeing more diversity. Watching people passing, like, okay, there's some color in the certified um, side of things too, and yeah, I think it's coming along. Um, I think there's still work to be done. But that's also why I personally want to continue in the court, because changes can't be made unless you're part of the change. So if there's things that I want to see changed, I can't do it unless I'm there.
Right.
So if I want my voice heard, I need to, pass first.
Right.
So I can help make those changes and keep pushing the court in the right direction. I think they're getting there. It's turning around, but you know,
Yeah.
nothing's perfect yet.
Listen, I'm rooting for you. I'm patiently waiting for the first Black woman. I am, and since we know now that it's one of three, and I'm not. And Wanda's out because I don't think Wanda's coming back to
Hmm.
study for that again. And I'm not sure. You might be the only one studying for it at this point. That might not be the only person's goal, but to be this far along,
Hmm.
the chances are very much in your favor as the first, which I think will be perfect. I think it'll be amazing, amazing pursuit. That was my goal when I set into wine. I was like, I'm going to be the first Black woman Somm, and our paths just ended up being different. And I think that
Hmm.
that ended up perfectly too, because here we are, right?
Right.
What is it like to study? I think, like, do you have study tips? Because I know a lot of people are studying for just different exams in general, not
Hmm.
even just CMS. There are some members that are studying for CMS, but there are also members that are studying for um, WSET, wow,
Hmm. Yeah.
WSET or other exams.
Yeah. So I'm advanced some, but I'm also a CSW. And I actually took that exam first. Um,
Can you
and
explain what a CSW is?
oh yeah, sorry. Through the Society of Wine Educators, they have two programs, Certified Wine Specialist, CSW, or Certified Specialist of Spirits, or
Mhm.
Spirit Specialist, whatever, CSS. So they have two programs, and then after you pass CSW, you can be a certified wine educator as well, which I don't want to do because it's too much writing. I don't like to write,
Hmm.
even though I write.
Okay.
um, yeah, so everyone is different, and I would do what works for you. I can only speak with what works for me. For me, it's repetition. So it's reading just to absorb information. Then I read it again and take notes. And then from my notes, I make flashcards. And then I read one more time to keep it in my brain. So I have to read things three times in order to memorize it. And I mean, that's how I passed the CSW. I read that book three times. And I almost aced that test. I missed one question just because I memorized it. Um, so yeah, that's what works for me. I'm not saying you have to do that. Yeah, I had the time. I had the time. Yeah, and I took it seriously.
Yeah.
But it helped lay my foundation. So I've, pretty good foundation of basic wine skills and then an advanced along that. Um, I think what works for me is also tasting while I'm reading. So if I'm reading about Margot today, I'm opening a bottle of Margot and sipping and tasting and taking it all in. And I've got my map and I'm figuring it out. And um, yeah, there's so many layers.
I'm opening a bottle of Margot. Like it just casually opening a bottle of Margot. Like,
I
damn.
didn't say
I
I didn't say
casually
Chateau
opening a bottle of
Margaux. I
First
said
Growth
a
and
Margaux, not Chateau Margaux. A Margaux. Just
oh, and Margot.
yeah, a not. I cannot just casually open a bottle of Chateau Margaux. There are people out there that can. That's not my bank
It's true.
account. It's not set up that way. Um, However, speaking of Chateau Margaux, I was there last month. Visiting Bordeaux, and what a beautiful property. If you can
Yay.
go out to Bordeaux, Chateau Margaux was stunning. Stunning. It was absolutely stunning. Gorgeous.
I've always wanted to go there just because that is my favorite growth. Um,
Mm.
so I've always just and I love the name. I love when women name their daughter Margot. I just think it's so cute.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Yeah. But no, so what has been your favorite place to visit?
Mm. Um, well, I've been to Abruzzo, Italy twice. I love it.
Mm,
And I want to go back. I love how I can be in the mountains during the day and on the beach at night. Plus it's Italy, which I love. Um, I love Abruzzo. Plus, the food culture there is outstanding. It's the best veggies you'll have. The cantaloupe tastes like candy. It just everything is just so uh, beyond. I love Italy. Um, that was my first time in France last month, and I want to go back. But Bordeaux was cool. It was just so hot. I couldn't really enjoy myself like I wanted to. Um, I really like Slovenia. I liked the rolling hillsides. I loved the quaintness of the people and the wines itself. So I can't wait to go back. I loved Portugal, all of it,
Mhm.
and Rias Baixas, Spain. The food. I can have octopus carpaccio every day with this Riesling too. That would be really nice. Just I love to immerse myself in culture and eat your food and drink your wine. And it's better when I can do it there. So, because that's why I do this. So I can
Yeah.
travel. So,
So one last question, and then I'm going to open it up for audience questions. How does Alicia take care of Alicia? Like, how do you take care of your mental health? There's a lot
mm,
going on in the world, a lot
a
going on.
lot.
This country is a cesspool. There's
Mm,
nonsense, and even those really hard days at work where we talked about earlier, where it's just daunting, the consistent challenges
mhm,
of existing and trying to do your job, and those microaggressions. But
mhm,
how do you take care of yourself? Is the first part of the question. Well, actually, let's make that the second part of the question. The first part of the question is, how has the wine industry shaped who you are? And then how do you take care of that person?
mhm. So the wine, the wine part of Alicia has completely overtaken my being. So I don't even know who I was before wine. I know I liked horses a lot, and even I don't have time for that anymore. Um, but yeah, I mean, wine is a big part of who I am and what I do, and that's what I'm known for. But I like that because you know what? I worked hard to be known for this. So if that's who I am and what I am, that's perfect because I spent a lot of time perfecting it. Um, but I don't mind. How do I take care of this person? I've actually found that on my nights off, I like to go to a decent restaurant, sit by myself at the bar, have a glass of wine or a bottle of wine, however I'm feeling, have a nice meal, might talk to the bartender, might not say anything at all. That's just my zen. I find that in order for me to be able to take care of people, I need to periodically know what it's like to be pampered and taken care of. So whether it's going to a nice restaurant and minding my own business, or going and get my nails done, getting a pedicure, um, yeah, or just doing nothing. I spent a lot of time concentrating and studying and reading and reviewing. And I started a wine school at Madrina. So every
Oh, wow.
Saturday, I'm doing a class with the staff. So I have to study. And it keeps me on my game going for a master. So I study every week and review that. Um, I just have to know when to take a break, and my body lets me know. I just need to turn it off, do something different, relax, hang out with my friends. Um, I have a group of guy friends, Anthony Gary, who's also an advanced sommelier. We pass together. Um, we go to our friend Phil's house. He cooks. We open dope bottles. You know, we talk shit about the wine world. That's how we relax. So it's cool.
Yeah, this sounds relaxing to
Mm-hmm.
me.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I do have one last question. I thought that was my last, but I think this is important.
Yeah.
Um, because I noticed that you have a tattoo, a large tattoo as well.
Oh yeah.
And I also
Yeah.
noticed that your nails are a prominent color. They're blue
They
or
are.
purple, but I
They're
think
blue.
um and again, just coming from a fine dining space, you wouldn't expect, you looking at you from the outside, you would not expect, those things, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I always find that fascinating about people. What is something about yourself that you would want to share that you feel like people don't know about you?
Mm. Well, the tattoo was college days. That was before professional Alicia. And blue is my favorite color, so
Yeah.
that's why they're on my nails. When I worked at Louis Vuitton, I couldn't do blue or purple. You have to do red. So there's a time in my life when I worked at Louis Vuitton, I could only have red nails. I'm like, ah, that's fine, fine. Um, but I even forgot what was the question. I forgot. Oh my God. What am I talking about my nails for?
What is something about you that
Oh,
that people don't know and you
oh,
want people to know?
yeah. I it's just kind of going back to what I do. It's not just pouring bottles tableside because I am surveying running a program, but I do like to write. I have my own bylines um, locally and I think nationally too. I love wine judging. I go to Texom every year. I'm now 11-time speaker at Texom. Um, so I enjoy that part of it. I love to educate. I love to make mead. I actually have a project here in St. Louis called Som Series with Bluewood Brewery, and my friend Scott Kurtz, who is a local mead maker. We met judging a mead competition, the National Mead Crafters competition, and he reached out during 2020, asked to collaborate. That summer of collaboration was really cool, but now we have like 15, 20 medals in our series. I love mead. I love honey. I like the fusion of honey and grape juice together and fermenting it. Um, so there's different aspects that you wouldn't see or wouldn't know if you just came and sat in my section.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that I offer to the industry. So so yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. We're gonna
And I
open it up for
yeah.
I'm sorry, were you saying something?
Oh no, I'll just no, no. I also like to shop. I spend more money than I make, so there's
Well, there you go. A girl after my own heart.
that.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah,
We'll open it up for questions if anyone has any. I know one of our members on here, I won't speak for her, but if she wants to speak up, is loves Italian wine,
yeah.
loves studying Italian wine. And so I think this is like a perfect opportunity.
Ask away.
Mhm.
Question. I'm not that person that Tahira is
No.
referencing, but I do have a question.
Yeah,
Um, Alicia, if you could go maybe like one step further just in explaining what your day looks like from being a beverage director versus a server, and I'm sure there's some overlap in a day, but can you just kind of
Mhm.
sort of give a high level explanation of what that looks like?
yes. So on a day, let's call it my admin day because I don't work beverage director hours every day. I try to consolidate it within a couple of days so I can have a couple of days off and just focus on being a server. Um, so Wednesday is my Monday, right? So this is what my Wednesday looks like. So I'm gonna go in tomorrow. I'm gonna put orders away, um, organize them. I take the invoices, I input them into Binwise. Binwise is a system that integrates with Toast. Toast is our computer system in a restaurant. So as far as what a beverage director does, I make sure that all of my entries are in so that Toast and Binwise can calculate profit, loss, percentages. I can get all of that valuable information. I also like to keep bottle counts on everything by the bottle in my restaurant. So I'll take Toast and um, like if I have 5 bottles of Clarice Pinot Noir, it's going to say 5. So as soon as that gets to 0, I can 86 it. Like there's a lot of things I do behind the scenes to keep service going. So I keep that in check. Hi, Scott Kurtz, I see you. For um, the bar side of things, I keep my wine for the servers on one side, but I also keep track of what's happening behind the bar. So I'm going to rotate their wine. I'm marrying bottles together if I need to. I'm rotating stock to make sure that the older stuff is being used. I take liberty in doing that. I can ask other people to do it, but if I do it, I know it's going to be done. And I'm very particular. Ask my staff, I'm very particular. If it's not done my way, they're going to hear about it. Um, but it's going to keep things going. So I have very little loss in that restaurant. It's one of the tightest ships I've ever ran because I keep eyes on everything that I do. It's not a huge restaurant, but it's not that small either. Like I'm doing some numbers. So I keep an eye on all of the moving parts. But again, my name is on that wine list, my face is on the door. I'm taking ownership of this project. At the end of the night, um, I'm making sure everything's put away. I'm making sure that everything's secure. Um, yeah, I have my hands on anything liquid in that building, including bottled water. Because I'm doing all the ordering too. Now, our new general manager, Sarah Landry, who came from the Four Seasons, she's now going to oversee the bar side of things as well, which is nice to have some help again. But yeah, we're working as a team and making sure we have everything we need. We're getting busy. We're I mean, at a time where I'm seeing my colleagues slowing down and are looking for their guests and the numbers, we're rocking it every night and every weekend and growing. So we're in a really good spot. And because we're doing a good job, yeah, maybe because there's some James Beard influence there, yeah, sure. But we're still steadily growing. We're only a year and a half old. So I'm keeping everything so tight because we are still so young, and I can't afford a slip up on my behalf. Because I mean, there's these are people's livelihoods that I'm helping guide. So it's a big responsibility.
Thank you for that.
Yes, you're welcome. Did I answer that okay?
Yep, you did. Perfect.
Okay, cool. Good.
Anybody else have a question? Scott Kurtz is a friend of yours. He said,
He
I can
is.
confirm Alisha is effing awesome. We cuss here, so we have to say fucking. And I'm
Thanks.
honored to have her in my life and as a friend. Some series
Aw,
would not have been
thank
successful without
you.
her.
Thank you. There's
Brittessa, oh,
there's
sorry.
a Oh no, there's a lot of people in my life that are so supportive. One of my best friends, Angie Ortman, um, has been a cheerleader in my corner every day. So I that's one of the things I like about St. Louis that I don't hear about coming from other markets on how we're just so supportive of each other and want to see each other succeed. And it's not like we're competing against each other, you
I love
know?
I love that. I think that's so
Mhm.
cool. And it's so important. And it also is fulfilling. It helps you to move forward when you know you have a certain level of support. Um,
Right.
Cortessa said, I am loving everything about this.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
does anyone else have any questions, comments, thoughts, things they would like to hop in on? We got 2 minutes.
Anybody? In the meantime, I'll show you what I'm drinking. This is
Yes, this Finger
you
Lakes.
can see that Finger Lakes Rieslings, the Herman, the Weimer. I think it's
Oh,
the Flower
nice.
Day Riesling. It's so
Yeah.
good,
Did it open up
so good.
finally?
Yeah, it did. It was a little sulfury at the beginning. It blew off. It's really pretty.
Yeah. I haven't had that in a while. I need to actually make a trip. Have you ever done Riesling Camp?
No, should I? Well,
Yeah,
duh. It's Riesling
apparently
Camp.
they do it up in Finger Lakes all the time.
Yeah.
So
Oh, nice.
I've never done it. I know they just finished like the beginning of the summer. I heard it was amazing, so I'm sure you could get in there. But yeah, I heard they do this program. I think it's like 10 or 12 people that they house, and they do this whole like almost a week of camp, or I don't think it's a full week. I think it's like maybe 4 or 5 days, something like that.
Hmm.
But art was really dope, and everybody seems to love
Nice.
it. So um, you go meet the winemakers.
Nice.
At any rate, Alicia, thank you so much. This was so informative and amazing. Thank you for your
Thank you.
vulnerability and the
You're
conversation.
so welcome. Anytime.
And I
Anytime.
am looking forward to flying to Missouri to give you a hug when you do pass
Oh,
that Master Som exam, because I know
thank
that
you. Thank you.
you are so deserving of all the things. It makes my heart swell that you are protected and loved, and taken care of up there. Y'all better take care of my girl.
You're
Um,
so welcome. So welcome.
and let me know if you ever need anything. And I'm just so inspired by you and keep doing your thing. And we love you. And I can't wait for everybody else to hear how amazing you are. So,
Well, thank you. Well, I'm looking forward to your next steps too, because you're always busy. So
yeah, yeah, I dropped the podcast today.
I saw.
Just something
Congratulations.
she said just some
I'm
spite.
like, just dropped the whole podcast. Yeah.
I did. I've been working on this for years, and then I always set it down to go do
Mm.
something else with the community. And I was finally
Mhm.
just like forced myself into it. And I forced myself to do it with somebody high profile, so I couldn't like back out and be like, oh, well, next I can like no. So it's
Right.
out. It's done. It's called Assimilation Not Required. Y'all can find it on Tidal, but it's also on YouTube. And yeah, it's actually really good. It's really funny. And I'm looking forward to having you as a guest eventually
Oh,
once I get it
please.
up
I'd
and
love that.
running.
Yes. Would love that.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Have a
Thank
wonderful,
you.
amazing night. And I hope that you drink something good this week.
Thank you. So nice to see you and talk to you. Always
You
a pleasure.
too. Always
Bye.
a pleasure. Talk soon. Bye.
All right. Bye.